I didn't know. Now I know. I thought we were being homers. I didn't realize that the whole world thinks that the 49ers are the best team in football. I had no idea. I really didn't. I'm being completely genuine here. Is there a scenario that exists in the NFL where the 49ers would not be favored right now?
Maybe Baltimore.
Maybe. At Baltimore? Is that it? They've been so good at home.
Yeah.
They've been blowing people out when they come in, although the good teams that they blew out now suddenly don't look like that good of teams. Seattle, Detroit, they're not on the level of Philadelphia and the 49ers. If you're going to be favored at Philly, would you be favored at Kansas City?
Man.
Would you be favored at Baltimore?
Would you be favored in the Super Bowl? That's the real question.
I think they would. In fact, I'm almost having a hard time looking at this spread and going, well, how come the Niners aren't the clear-cut Super Bowl favorite? Because if you're saying that the Niners are supposed to win even in Philly, then the Niners should be the Super Bowl favorite in the NFC.
At least the NFC favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Is it still Kansas City right now at this hour? Because, man, Baltimore has looked good. Even though Baltimore does not have their tight end, I mean, Baltimore still continues to do.
Baltimore's fantastic.
Yeah, Baltimore's still doing big things.
Well, actually, lo and behold, here it is. The San Francisco 49ers are the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Is that DraftKings?
That is FanDuel.
Okay.
FanDuel, and it is razor thin. Check this out. The Niners are plus 430. The Eagles are plus 440.
Jeez.
The Chiefs are plus 440. The Ravens are plus 750.
Okay.
So they're still a little ways away. Dolphins come next, then Cowboys, plus 1,000 to round out your top six. But the 49ers on Thanksgiving convinced everybody. 3-game win streak on the back end of the 3-game losing streak at Jacksonville, at Seattle, blowout victories. And I think that they have successfully made everybody forget about the 3-game losing streak.
Right.
And that's what the spread says to me. Don't kill the messenger. America is telling you that the 49ers are the best team in football. You buy that or not?
I mean, I buy that in terms of, can they beat Philadelphia? Yeah. Chances are, they could beat Philadelphia, but it doesn't matter if you're the best team in football until you get to the Super Bowl and you play one other team. So would I bet them right now to win the Super Bowl? Probably not. I would bet Baltimore based on the odds.
Well, yeah,
based on the money.
You don't like betting the favorite in that. The odds, the money's not in your favor.
No, and if you look at, Baltimore, they're heading into their bye this week, and they've got the Rams at home, at Jacksonville, at the Niners, and then Miami, and then Pittsburgh. So they got 5 games after the bye, and Baltimore's in a pretty good spot in terms of, not only winning the division, but getting home field throughout based on, you beat Miami, you beat the Niners. Not an easy schedule, but Baltimore's got a spot where they can control their own destiny for the most part.
Things have clicked their way the last 3 weeks or so. You got 2 quarterback injuries right there within the division.
Right.
That certainly helped out a lot. And so even though Pittsburgh is 7-4, they feel like a threat to no one in that division. And so Baltimore's almost kind of playing the Jacksonville game, where it's like, we've got our division. There's one other plucky, cute, kind of good team here. But
yeah, the Colts.
The Colts.
Tied with the Texans.
I was talking about the Texans. But anyway.
Colts have won 3 in a row.
Yep. No, they're fine.
Wishing they still had Frank Reich, and he's available.
He is available, and but Anthony Richardson is not. But anyway, that's kind of what it feels like as far as the Ravens are concerned. Who's going to end up with home field there? Long way to go as far as that one is concerned. The Chiefs will have what they have to say about it. Dolphins too. But this did raise my eyebrows for that reason. And we'd love to hear from you on it. 888-957-9570. So glad to be back.
Good to have you back.
So refreshed, man. Fun listening to you last week for the first part of the week.
Okay, I had 3 different hosts.
Yep.
We had a pair of double Ds on Monday.
Yep.
Dibs and JD Tuesday, and the Krug Show on Wednesday. Nice variety for us.
I heard a little bit less of that one because that was
Krug.
That was an activity day.
Yeah,
we were out and about a little bit, but
I thought you meant you heard a little less of me because it was Krug was
Krug,
he was my Jerome Bettis, 31 carries for about 90 yards. Pound the rock, Krug.
Yeah, you get a football and a food week.
I told him the pre-show. I said, dude, I'm going to hand you the rock. we're going to give you the ball a lot early and often.
Yeah, but that
which is good.
I mean, so we're sitting there last night, and I was even playing with Kyle Rudolph on it. I go, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think the spread's going to be? Come on, tight end. What do you think? And he's like,
come on, hot shot.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, it's pretty even. I think the Eagles are just going to get the requisite home 3.
Oh, wow.
The Eagles a 3-point favorite. And I thought to myself, something tells me it's going to be a little less than that. I grant you, I think the Eagles are going to be favored.
Yeah.
But I'll go $1.50. I go $1.50. He said 3. And then we sat there and chatted for about 45 minutes. And then a listener goes, hey, it's up. And I went and looked and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Niners by 1.
The Niners are favored. By the time I saw it, it was already on the way up and it had gone to 2.
Wow.
Shot immediately up to 2. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And so I understand the some of these items that are a part of this week. Sure, the Eagles feel like they've run a gauntlet, long games, late Sunday, injuries. How many of these in a row can they win? I get all that. And the Niners feel rested and healthy and absolutely pummeling people. So that's certainly a part of this picture. But you dive a little deeper, and I'm like, I'm always fascinated to know when you get sort of the more national view across the country, who do you think? Remember the question we asked a few weeks ago? Take all those good teams and the best version of themselves, who's the best? We got our answer yesterday.
Yeah.
Niners.
According to the odds makers, yes.
And the people.
And we'll get our answer really on Sunday. And I said, when you asked that last week or the week before, I said Philadelphia. And, we're going to find out on Sunday if both teams are, quote, at their best, which they may not be. And this game is not the end-all, be-all. If they play in January,
correct,
that will be the game that will be the end-all, be-all, because it'll be a playoff game. But right now, based on where these two teams are as we sit on this Monday, the Niners are in a better spot to win this game than they were last year in January when they went to Philadelphia.
And of course. Sure. Well, I mean, as long as they've got a quarterback, then
well, they had a quarterback then.
Well, to start the game,
I'm saying going into the game. Yeah. Going into this game, they're in a better spot than they were going into that game.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I think.
I mean, the Eagles are a little bit more beat up. The 49ers are a little bit more experienced now.
And the Eagles were coming off, they weren't coming off a bye, but they had the bye. And then they had a game. The Niners had 2 games.
Right, and the game was against the New York Giants for crying out loud.
So in terms of where the Eagles were then versus where the Niners were then, the Niners had to play 2 games and, a tough game against Dallas, right?
Correct.
And the Eagles had 1 game, which was against a divisional rival, which was against a divisional team that they easily kind of cuffed around. So it wasn't that much of a high leverage game. And then this Sunday, the Eagles are coming off a gauntlet, including an overtime win over a very desperate Buffalo team. And the Niners are coming in off a 3-quarter cakewalk on a Thursday. Yeah. So, of course, they're in a better spot.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And Brock's just more experienced now. He's played more football.
Right.
All of the stuff. So I'm in full agreement. Here's another thing that I do find fascinating, though. And this is one way to look at it. In many ways, the rest of the country believes more in Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy than we do here. Listen, and I know sometimes you could accuse me of sort of listening to the, as you would call it, the lunatic fringe a little bit too much. I think there are plenty of Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy fans here in San Francisco. But I also think that because when you go through the wars, it's almost like your own family, right? Like I can tell you my kid's weaknesses better than you can.
Right.
Right? Because I'm with them all the time. Same thing here. Kyle Shanahan is our team's coach. So we remember every 4th and 1 call that didn't go right.
Right.
Or when you went to the Super Bowl and you didn't win it, you jerk. Or this, that, the other. All of the wars that you've been through. And Brock Purdy, he threw a 4th-quarter interception here and there, and it broke our heart on a Sunday afternoon. The rest of the world looks at these guys, all that narrative of, hey, Brock, I'll believe it when I see it. Let's see you be a Super Bowl quarterback. And, hey, Shanahan, come on, man. Stop choking all of those leads away in the playoffs. I'll believe it when I see it. Nope. You believe it now. You already do. And in fact, the message for me yesterday is that this entire country believes in the 49ers more than they believe in any other thing in the NFL this year. So I wonder, what's all the talk about? Because the action suggests that everybody across the board fully believes in the 49ers to the point where they can go to the home of a 10-1 team in December and everybody thinks they're going to win.
Right. It's more than Shanahan and Brock Purdy. It's the defense, and it's what you saw on Thanksgiving, and it's Bosa and Chase Young, and it's Armstead, and it's, Javon Hargrave, and it's Fred Warner. It's a defense that only allowed 2 field goals to Seattle because the touchdown, that one goes to Brock Purdy. So a defense that allowed 6 points on Thanksgiving night in a game that everybody watched after you were all tryptophaned out and you were lying there on the East Coast and you thought, let me see these Niners. And then you watched them and you thought, oh my God. And Christian McCaffrey is scoring twice and he's running roughshod. And you didn't even need Brandon Ayuk in that game. He had one big touchdown catch that was the capper, but he didn't have a big Ayuk game. I think he had one catch.
Two catches total.
He had one catch before that. And you had Debo running horizontally, and, Debo had some catches, and, George Kittle had some catches, and, Christian McCaffrey had a couple of big runs, and you looked up and he's got 100 yards, and Brock Purdy made all the throws, and the defense was nasty, and Charvarius Ward was unbelievable, and he shut down DK Metcalf, and you look across the board and you think, oh my God, this team they're for real.
Yeah. The last 3 games have clearly erased what happened the 3 games before. Let's go to JJ in Concord. We'd love to take your calls today. 888-957-9570. Hey, JJ, what are you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving.
You too.
Thank you. I hate to be the big buzzkill here, but quite frankly, and right to your point, man, I am not a believer in Kyle Shanahan. This guy has blown leads. He is horrible in the fourth quarter. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to win a Super Bowl with Kyle Shanahan as our head coach, because when it comes down to it, at the very end, was 0-29 when he's down by like 5 or more.
8 or more.
Can't win. We cannot win. We cannot win in the fourth quarter.
Can't do it.
He turns into a big cream puff and just holds his breath. And you're just waiting for him to burst. I'm like, hey, and I feel like his biggest problem, he's such a control freak that when it comes down to it, he just, run up the middle, and he won't let Brock Purdy just do his thing. Just let Brock cook. That's all I'm saying. Let him go. Turn that guy loose.
That's interesting, JJ, because I think that, letting Brock cook in the fourth quarter when trailing, you could argue was what they were trying to do 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, and there were a whole lot of interceptions. So I'm not necessarily going to refute your point. I'm just going to say that while you can say that this is a major flaw, this is the way the Niners are built. They are built with the run game is key. They are built to where deception is key. And when you're down by 10 points in the fourth quarter, deception goes out the window.
Right.
Because everybody knows exactly what you're going to do.
And you don't have the 3 wide and the 4 wide receiver package, and you don't have the shotgun attack to really rally quickly and come back. It's not the way you're built.